How to receive downloads, part 2. What does it feel like when you actually receive a download? Okay, let us find out in this video. Om Shanti, I'm Garrett, yogi, life coach as well as spiritual enthusiast. So a lot of my works in this channel is to spread the words of love, light and positive message out to the world. So if you can resonate with some of my contents in this channel, please show some love, hit like, subscribe and share your learnings in the comment section below. It will help you reaffirm your learnings as well as to help those that are about to watch this channel or this video. Okay, so today's topic is all about learning what does it feel like to be receiving spiritual downloads. Okay. And most often the time, you will most likely hear tones either from the left ear or the right ear or both ears. Okay, so let's start. Tones in the ear, right, is actually, I'm not talking about tinnitus here. So actually make sure always check with your healthcare specialist or your doctors or your GPs first, so that to ensure that you're not actually receiving any tinnitus or something. Okay, so make sure you get your ears checked by a specialist and before you actually check the spiritual sides of things. Okay. So the tone which actually lasts for about 5 to 15 seconds in either ear or both ears, perhaps being perceived as being just above your head. Okay, now this tone right on the right ear can signify a communication. Obviously it's not like being on the telephone, but just a sort of signal that this download is actually happening. So a tone in the right ear can mean a signal from a positively oriented type of entity. For example, a positive extraterrestrial or your spirit guides or your spirit group or something like that. Okay, so it's usually associated with extraterrestrial intelligence, higher intellectual beings. Okay, a tone in the left ear is associated with a download or communication from a nature of negative type of extraterrestrial intelligence or in fact intelligent being. Okay, so now the reason for this, according to the law of 1 by Ra, okay, is the left side of the brain, right, and the head. The electromagnetic field and its polarization is actually of a very negative polarization. Okay, and the right side of the head and the brain, right, is more of the polarization of its electromagnetic field, which is positive. Okay, so when you're actually receiving communication from a positive entity, right, you will be perceived as a tone often quite loud in the right ear. Okay, now if you hear a tone in the left ear, there's no reason to be alarmed. Okay, because if negative entities are sending out communication to whoever they select, right, it doesn't mean that you're being brainwashed into something negative or you turn negative, okay, or anything like that. Simply don't think about that. Okay, it's not something like that. So in fact, right, you're actually perceiving the information as information and allows you to have a sort of knowing about negative entities and the way forward about their intentions and etc. Okay, so it's not going to change you in any way. What it goes in your mind translates into a knowing about what they are up to, okay, what they are doing or what are their intentions, rather in that sense. Okay, so you might find you intuitively know some kind of negative plan or conspiracy or something like that. Okay, so you might hear of a conspiracy theory and think, well, I already suspected that. Now, the reason for that is because you downloaded this information and it came to you as a form of tone in the left ear. But being a positively polarized entity yourself, you don't actually work upon that. Okay, don't act upon that. You don't join in on that negative behaviors. You just become aware of what is happening. That's all. So if you realize a tone in the left ear, don't be alarmed. Okay, it's just gonna make you more aware of certain things. Okay, so if you receive a tone in the right ear, then you're going to be aware of positively oriented information, which your subconscious is going to want to act upon, because that is your nature. Okay, so the law of one also states, right, if you hear in both ears, okay, so it's gonna be special then. It seems to be above the head, okay, somehow it's around this area, okay, our temples. It's the confirmation of a correct thought. Okay, so if you had a thought, right, and then you hear this tone, take it as that it's confirmed, that it's true, or that it was a significant thought or idea you had. So although this isn't really a download in itself, right, I thought I'll mention it, okay, because it's actually interesting about how tones work, okay. So that is a confirmation of a thought, okay. So make sure you ask your spirit guides for information, and you may actually not feel the download, but it's actually experienced as a form of revelation or a sense of knowing. Okay, set the intention or download information from the Akashic records, just like Edgar Cayce was doing in the past. He was accessing information from the Akashic records while he was doing his work, and since the information, again, as a sense of knowing, you need to ask the subconscious for these things, because as I've mentioned before, you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, and your subconscious, right, is like a magic cooking pot. You put in the request, and the subconscious mind manifests it. It's like a sense, it's actually like a genie in the lamp. Okay, you put in the request, and your subconscious pretty much manifests it. Okay, so if you set the intention and make the request at the subconscious to download that higher wisdom from whatever source you choose, you can actually wait and be sure that you will receive a download. Okay, allow it to come true. Okay, so that your mind perceive it through meditation and silence. Okay, now another symptom that you're receiving a download, right, is that you might actually have a strong daydream, and I actually covered quite a few other symptoms of downloads in part 1. Okay, if you want, can go back and catch on the other symptoms over there, but I'm just going to bring out a few more here. Okay, so another symptom is that you might sense a presence, because a spirit guide or a discarnate, right, let's say a family member, might be with you while you're receiving this download as well. Okay, you may also receive downloads, and it can be accessed during sort of like dream time. Okay, so this may actually manifest in vivid dreams that you may need to decode, as they are most often quite significant and very symbolic. Okay, so even though if you actually receive downloads, right, of a certain kind, say practically every day of our lives, right, most of the time it's just dismissed, okay, like I mentioned earlier, not noticed or even perceived as our own thought, as it should be. Okay, because this is our own life path here. Okay, this is our own experience, and if we consistently receive information from EETs or spirit guides knowingly, then we wouldn't be living our own lives, right, and having our own experiences, wouldn't we, right? So life wouldn't be exciting, because you're just living a life of higher intellectual beings which have already transcended life itself. Okay, so but be open to it, because then you'll actually receive more of it. Okay, you'll receive more divine intelligence and guidance. If you want to receive higher wisdom to help you, or some path of yours is actually writing a book or articles, or telling others, okay, about what you would learn, people information, then you receive it and you learn more and more what it feels like to actually receive a download. Okay, lastly, it helps to be in a very positive vibration, because if you wish to receive information readily, right, and easily from spirit guides and of the higher self or what have you, right, then it helps if your vibration is higher, more in line with theirs, so that's been how to get a download and what it actually feels like. Okay, so I hope you actually receive lots of these interesting and loving downloads full of wisdom. Okay, and you can actually use and apply it in your life. Okay, that's the most important aspect of receiving downloads. Okay, so I hope you actually try it out, and most likely most already happened to you already. It's just that you're not aware of it. Just be more observant, be more mindful, and be more self-aware that this is actually happening to you, and learn to dissect all of that. And the more you learn to practice honing on the ability to observe spiritual downloads, right, the more you get better at it. Okay, and yeah, I hope these 2 videos have helped you gain more understanding about spiritual downloads. Okay, and if you do, please share your learnings in the comment section. Okay, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. Okay, and that's it for me for today. If you resonate with this video, please show some love, hit like and subscribe. Okay, and if you can, also support me on Patreon. I'm building it up slowly, eventually doing it into podcast and all. Okay, much love and blessings to you, and Om Shanti.